Making Dylan heat drama. Are we rolling?
We're rolling.
Oh, we're rolling. All right, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Mike and Dylan Hate Drama. We were actually deciding right now if we were going to shoot Mike and Dylan Hate Drama or Two Daddies Judging Baddies. And
You said that really fast and really smooth. I think we're going to get used to the Two Daddies Judging Baddies. Look at me. I did it too.
Well, outside, I was messing it all up. I was like, Two Baddies Judging Dad. We chose a very difficult name for the new podcast.
I mean, we could be Two Baddies Judging Baddies too. Like, I mean, we're pretty bad.
We are, yeah. We are handsome individuals. Right now, Mike is trying to get healthier. He is trying to live a healthier life, which will last for like 3 days, and then I'll be back to being...
No, I think you are real good at like a month. And then after that month is up, like you've cycled out of it.
I need one of your like self-help books.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to... You tell me your favorite, and I'm going to get it on audiobook because I'm not going to sit there and read it.
There's some really good Gary Vee ones. They're more like business oriented, but I mean, there's a lot of good ones. But that's the thing is, I saw somebody talk about it. It's better to have one book and just like read it again, like learn your lessons, like keep coming back to that one book, than it is to like serial read like 100 of them, because you never implement any of it. So the more you just like focus on just like pick one book, roll with that one, and let it be your lifestyle for a while.
I got to give up cigarettes, caffeine, got to start exercising some, losing weight again. I stopped all that. I was doing real good for a minute there, and then I don't know. Life gets in the way, and it's like, look, I'm going to be really hard, so it's going to be really hard to focus on yourself, so you're just going to die, bud.
Yeah, shit happens.
It does happen. So today we have, a viewer actually recommended that we read, what are these called?
They're just like the, Hall of Fame Reddit stories.
Yeah, it's like Reddit Hall of Fame stories. We read one of those, and then we kind of, after we read the Reddit story, that's when we kind of go into this overtime where we could talk about similarities in our lives that pertain to the story. So I think that's a good way to kind of go about it. Today's story is called Poop Knife.
And I bet you don't know about it unless you have already read this story on Reddit.
And I have not read this story, so it's going to be a treat to go through. To read to you guys, and then me and Dylan will kind of go into, things that pertain similarly to it. So I know this story is about a guy who thought that things that he did as a kid was normal. So I believe that's the kind of banter we're going to get into after we read this story. Right, Dylan?
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, yeah. So, right now, like I said, Mike's trying to change his life, so I'm in a bit of a brain fog, which actually is, I don't know, I'm getting words out better, and...
Brain fog is good for you.
Maybe I won't be as witty, but this one's called Poop Knife. And Dylan wrote Poop Knife at the top.
It looks real. Go ahead and show the audience how nice my handwriting is. This is your camera.
Oh, there you go. Poop Knife. I feel like the teacher that's like showing after I read something.
I automatically thought Vanna White. She is a baddie.
She is, yeah. She's old now. Have you seen Rachel Ray?
Mm-mm.
Ooh, brother. She aged. Which, I mean, is good, but she's also had like health problems and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna show Dylan on my phone, and then as I guess
I always thought she was cute when she was like a little bigger back in the day.
Oh yeah, but I mean now she's aged.
I saw a picture of Jonah Hill this morning, and he is a very skinny man.
He does that though. He cycles.
Yeah, like me. I mean, he's very, very skinny.
We like to go from fat to skinny. Everybody's like going crazy about her now.
I mean, honestly, she just looks like a normal person
right,
on a day that you don't want to be photographed.
That hasn't done a ton of, I guess they only think you're normal if you do a ton of plastic surgery as a...
Well, and they like to, that whole, Ben Affleck out there, smoking a cigarette and shit. It's like, they're normal people. Like, they are just regular old people. Like, I mean, yes, probably infinitely wealthy, but, also that comes with its own downsides of, not being able to go...
Every time I see
grab a quick bite to eat or something.
Right. Every time I see the Ben Affleck photo of him just out there just stressed as shit smoking that cigarette, I'm like, samesies, brother. Yeah. Samesies.
You could get that picture any day of the week outside the studio.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. And then I look at her and just like, what are we doing here, man?
Falling apart.
It's all falling. There's no point where we're out there happy smoking cigarettes. If we're out there, if I'm smoking a cigarette, especially if Dylan's smoking a cigarette, things have gone terribly awry.
There was a 2-day stint where we sold 40 shirts on TikTok Shop that was like, okay, we got it, we figured it out, and then the next day it's like down to like no shirts,
Right, and then
no
TikTok's
sales.
also like, and we're gonna stop paying you
No more
guys.
money for
Yeah,
this.
and Facebook's like us too, and we're just like, oh, so we're just fucked. Okay, thanks, guys.
And then we're back to Ben Affleck.
Yeah, then I'm back out there just like stressed, like, oh, I could turn my life around, or I could just die and I ain't got to worry about any of this stuff. I imagine like a burglar now, like a robber, just like goes to like carjacking. He's like, get out the car or I'll kill you. So I'm like, okay, so either I get out the car, you take my car, I have to walk and I'm gonna be miserable, or you just shoot me and then I have no more problems.
Yeah, my family gets paid.
Yeah. So if you're gonna pick one, you just pick one right now. I'm gonna let you pick.
Yeah, rolling the dice here. My life is in your hands.
And then he's going to be like a wife, and he's going to be like, well, I don't want to pick. And I'm like, you're the one who's hungry right now. God. Yeah, you're the one who wants to rob somebody right now. You are the one who should pick.
Make
Jesus. All right. So my family poops big. All right. Had a little bit of spit come out too when I said that.
Weird flex on that one.
Yeah. Just they poop. They have large feces. Maybe it's genetic. Maybe it's our diet, but everyone births giant logs of crap. If anyone has laid a mega poop, you know that sometimes it won't flush. It lays across the hole in the bottom of the bowl, and the vortex of draining water merely gives it a spin as it mocks you. What kind of fiber-rich turds is this family having that the vortex just doesn't like break it in half?
These are those cornbread-fed country boys that you were talking about in the Aliens Invasion.
Brother, you know, when I was a kid, and I used to, because, you know, kids, they have big, healthy poops, man.
Yeah.
And when you're a kid, that shit hurts so bad. And I used to be like, I used to tell God I wouldn't lie anymore if the turd would just come out. I'd be like, brother,
Don't make it hurt.
Yeah, I quit lying at everything. God, that shit. Growing up, this was common enough occurrence that our family had a poop knife. It was an old rusty kitchen knife that hung on a nail in the laundry room only to be used for that purpose. It was normal to walk through the hallway and someone call out, hey, can you grab me the poop knife? I thought it was a standard kit. Oh, man. You have a plunger, your toilet brush, and your poop knife. Fast forward to 22. It's been a day or two between poops, and I'm over at a friend's house. My friend was the local dealer and always had guests over because you can't buy weed without sitting on your ass and sampling it for an hour.
Yep.
I excuse myself and lay a gigantic turd. I look down and see that it's a sideways one, so I crack the door and call out to my friend. He arrives, and I ask him for his poop knife. My what? Your poop knife, I say. I need to use it, please. He's like, what the fuck is a poop knife? Obviously, he has one, but maybe he calls it by a more delicate name, a fecal cleaver, a tongue divider, a guano glaive. I explain what it is. I want and why I want it. He starts giggling, then laughing. Then lots of people start laughing. It turns out the music stopped and everyone heard my pleas through the door. It also turns out that none of them have poop knives. It was just my fucked up family with their fucked up bowels. Fuck my life. I told this to my wife last night, who was amused and horrified at the same time. It turns out she did not know what a poop knife was and had been using the old rusty knife hanging in the utility closet as a basic utility knife. Whoa. How do you get through a relationship and then marriage without ever mentioning the poop knife?
Yeah, the poop knife, I think would, like, especially depending on when, unless he's just now experiencing this over at his, like, dealer's house. But, like, at some point, yeah, you figure... Oh, yeah, watch that one. That one's the poop knife.
I think you're like, what?
Yeah.
Maybe we should have talked about this before we got married.
Like, they had to have moved or something, and so he had to, like, take the poop knife with him to, like, the new location and be like, where should we put the poop knife? Where's a good spot for this?
It'd be crazy. Well, the wife's just like, oh, we didn't need a poop knife. All of our family had just very loose bowels, so... Thankfully, she didn't cook with it, but used to open Amazon boxes. She will be getting her own utility knife now. Wait, was he a utility knife? Was he using like a box cutter to cut these poops apart?
No, she was using the poop knife because like it was just a sharp object that could open a box easily.
There's an edit. Common question. Why was this not in the bathroom instead of the laundry room? Answer, we only had one poop knife, and the laundry room was central to all three bathrooms. Bro's rich and using a poop knife, man. 3 bathrooms.
Yeah.
I have no idea why we didn't have 3 poop knives. All I know is that we didn't. We had the one, possibly because my father was notoriously cheap about the weirdest things. So yes, we shared our poop knife. That is.
See, they were wealthy enough to eat well, because that costs some money. So
Right.
they have nice, healthy poops. But Dad's like, no, we're not having 3 poop knives. One, we share it.
Dad is making sure they get all their fiber though, and they're living. I mean, healthy bowels because they're having these logs that are just like you could
Yeah, they're just
assault
coming out.
somebody with it. Yeah, that's just a poop knife, man. So, what did you have as a child that you thought we're going into overtime, guys, where we banter and stuff like that? So, we're gonna ask Dylan what he experienced when he was a child that he thought was normal, but was not that normal.
Well, the thing that I was gonna say on that story is like the first time you ever like do a shart, as the term is, and I think I had my first one when I was like 7 at like a Super Bowl party at one of my friends' houses.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a fart and it wasn't, and then I ran to the bathroom and then I had to like call my mom crying. I was, because I'd never shit myself, like as like a kid that doesn't shit themselves anymore, like I'd never had that experience, and like I thought I was like the, you know, the weirdest, lamest kid because I pooped my pants, which I didn't like poop my pants. It was just like, you know.
Yeah.
But that experience, and then from there on, like I've had trust issues with my bowels ever since, and it's like I don't know what I can believe is just going to come out as gas, and which is going to be a, you know, either liquid or solid form.
Bro, I didn't start sharting until up in age. Like that was, I think, the first time I experienced a shart. I was like 27 years old at work. And I was, yeah, because just started going through like all the stomach problems and stuff, and I thought I was about to rip me a big one, and I ripped this just oily mess, and I was like, oh God, and now I have to leave, and which is funny too, because I told myself, like, I didn't care. I went up to the supervisor. I was like, "Hey, I gotta go." And he's like, "Why?" I was like, I just fucking farted, and this just oil mess came out of my bowels." And he's like, "Oh, that's the worst. Are you coming back?" I'm like, "Fuck no."
Nah.
I live 45 minutes away, buddy. I'm not driving 45
And
minutes.
even still, I'm gonna take a shower, probably relax. Like,
Yeah.
that was an experience.
Try to process, have a cigarette. That was this is a whole new experience. I'm trying to like process this new life that since then it's probably happened about 11 times. Getting old sucks, man, especially like when you got IBS and like dealing with it where you never had to deal with it before.
Well, and it's always the times where like, you know, it's inconvenient. Like it never just happens like while you're at the house. Like just like, oh
No, that's when
like,
it mostly happens to me. When I'm comfortable to really like rip big ones.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about that too. Like now in the mornings, man, I'll be like just a gas machine and it's not even like the cute ones.
Are they ever really cute?
You know, back in the day, I had the birds, and I guess now you would just assume I've been to a bunch of Diddy parties because now they're just like, they're just releasing. One thing that I thought was semi-normal because I talked to a teacher about it because we're talking about like, you know, just like dealing with like problems and stuff we hate going through right now because it was I guess we were talking about like it was sex ed, bodies changing and stuff like that, and I remember at the house where, like I told you, I spent most of the time at, the septic tank was fucking up. And obviously, my parents didn't have money to fix it. So, well, the shitty thing that would happen, literally, is you would be taking a shower and then shit would start coming through there. And you just had to like scream and run away.
What the fuck?
Right. So I was just like, man, I just hate when I'm like taking a shower and then shit starts coming out the drain. And people are like, what? You live in a fucking exorcist house or something like that? Bro, it got so bad that we couldn't even use the toilet anymore. We had shit in buckets, bro. And we had to wait until tax time for that crackhead to fucking fix it. That was genuinely just like the most awful experience. I was like, man, I'd just rather be out in the woods right now, honestly, than fucking the shit bathroom. I hated living with them because they wouldn't fucking fix it either, too. Which I mean, to a point I understand because finally, when I saw what like all needed to be done when they finally got it fixed, and they had to bring out like excavators and shit to like dig it up and fix everything. And I remember the day I came home from school and I saw that happen because we had been dealing with it for a while now, and I was just like to the point where mentally exhausting. Because I also told you, like I slept right there at the bathroom, so I had poop central right there at my room, so it just smelled awful all the time. And finally, they got it fixed. For a while there, I thought just like, man, when your septic tank fucks up, that's like a rough 6 months right there. And people be like, no, my family fixed it immediately, like as soon as it started happening. And I'm like, well, y'all are like rich or something like
you guys
that?
have responsible adults,
right? They're like, no, they just parents are able to do things, bro. it was so crazy growing up too, because I thought this would happen when I was an adult. Because like the adults that I lived around for some reason would always randomly get a large sum of money for something that happened. And I was like, man, I can't wait for those when I'm an adult. It's never happened. Like I've never just randomly for something that I didn't know that was happening. I remember my stepdad's brother, their family, they got a really like large medical check. And it was like $19,000. So obviously $19,000, me hearing that as a kid, I was like, oh, they're fucking rich now. And I was like, brother, you got it made. You're loaded.
Let me hold $1.
Come to find out that they were supposed to send that into the insurance company. So they got in a little bit of trouble for that one. But I was just like, man, like these adults just get randomly large amounts of random money sometimes.
See, I always thought that was when I'd see like the UPS driver come, I'm like, is he going to bring me a package? And then finally, I think I was probably well into my teenage years before I realized I was like, oh, you have to like order it for them to send you something. Like they're not just dropping off packages like fucking Santa Claus. Like I was like, am I going to get a package? Every time I'd see him ride down the road, I was like, am I going to get a package?
Well, 13 years I have had to look at this guy bring everybody but me something. Yeah. When is it going to be my time? When is it going to be Dylan's time to shine?
And we never like got packages because like, I mean, there was no online ordering or anything. So it was a very like,
how the hell was that work? Just catalogs?
I mean, I guess, yeah.
I remember seeing catalogs.
Yeah, we saw the catalogs. We used to shop in the catalogs, but we never
you're rich, bro, because that never happened.
No, my mom would get the JCPenney catalogs, and we just look through it. We wouldn't get any of the shit from it. Like, that's one thing that my parents raised me without believing in Santa Claus. Like, they told me, like, wasn't real from the beginning. And so, like, I'd see all the kids around me, they'd get, like, fucking, Game Boys and Sega Genesis and all this other stuff, and I would get like a 99 science experiment like package. Like that was my thing for Christmas, was all learning toys and shit like that. And so like I tried to believe in Santa. I was like, Santa, please bring me something.
Oh man, you did the reverse. Oh, He was like, these motherfuckers are lying to me, and all these other kids are benefiting from this Santa guy, and they're telling me not to believe in this Santa dude.
And so I tried, and he still brought me like a science kit, which like I don't.
So even telling you that Santa wasn't real, you were just like, he is real, and my parents are just fucking. You got to believe, guys.
Yeah, I tried like hell, and never did. I think the first game system we got was like NES, like an original, and by that time it was like 98 or 99 when like PlayStations and all that stuff were coming out, and my parents eventually bought me a PlayStation, the like first version. But
I knew Santa wasn't real from a very early age because he never even got remotely what I wanted. I remember I was like 7 or 8 years old and waking up for Christmas, and my stepdad walks into my bedroom and he throws this Ziploc baggie, and it has what I can only describe as like various pieces of used toys. I remember it had like a Mighty Duck in it, and he was just like, Merry Christmas. And that's what I got at that age for Christmas. And I'm just like opening the bag and stuff, and I was like, there's no way Santa would bring this shit.
My nephew's like I don't know what to call her, but like my nephew's mom, like she's such a
that
shit
would be
parent.
an aunt, right?
No, my nephew's like, so my brother's ex or whatever.
Yeah. Family math is really hard for me to do in my head.
But like my brother's always paid child support, always has, and always like never fought it. Like fought to try and get the kids, but never fought like having to pay for the kids.
Right.
And there was real fucked up though. Like they were probably 10, 11, 12, somewhere in that range, and she opted to tell the kids that they were too bad to get Christmas presents, instead of just buying them fucking Christmas presents. I was like, she didn't have the money supposedly, right. But like my brother's paying a lot to make sure that these kids like have food and clothes and all the other stuff, and she opted to tell them they were too bad to get Christmas presents. And I was like, you are the shittiest like human in the
terrible
world. Like if you can't afford it, say you can't afford it or whatever, and then tell them Santa's not real if they've been doing the Santa thing. But like, don't tell them you're bad.
But also presents. There are resources in your community, like if you're like really really down, single mom type shit, there's like churches and stuff like that, which pissed me off so much about my parents.
Yeah,
because they wouldn't go to like churches and shit to get anything, not food, not nothing. Like like I said, they were poor people, they were poor kids, and then there were like rich poor kids where their family would use the food stamps and they would go to like these churches and stuff and ask for help. But I got the proud crackheads that were just like, We're going to earn our crack responsibly, sometimes with these food stamps, and then we're going to never ask anybody for help, which led to our, listen, it sounds rough that Mikey used to dumpster dive, all right, when he was a kid, but it was some of the funnest fucking like experiences I had just traveling at High Point at night. And if you know anything about High Point, especially like North Main and South Main, it's pretty sketchy around there. Yeah. It's pretty sketchy around there. And then you just met me just like when we were being like stealthy too, because we knew.
See, the thing with dumpster diving, like you say it as you know, a kid. I was 17, 18 years old working at the grocery store, and they used to make me throw out all kinds of food. And I was just like, I'm just gonna set this shit aside, and then I'm gonna come back and steal it myself, because like I want cookies and cake and all the things that are still completely fine. Like they might be not able to be sold, but like we used to give the food to like food banks and stuff like that, but then they can only take so much of the trash. And so, you know, I'd be out there like strawberries that I had to throw away. Like there's a couple moldy strawberries in there. You got to throw the whole thing away. So like, and they like literally you throw away probably 100 packs of strawberries over like a 2-day period. And so I'd just like set them all off to the side. And
we never got fruit or anything out of there.
But we always, I worked in produce, and then I worked with like the bakery and all that stuff. And so, I mean, there was so much stuff that like all like the healthy pomegranate tea juices and all that stuff. Nobody would buy that. It was like $4 at the time. And this is,
I'm gonna be honest, we were pretty poor and starving back then. And if we just saw pomegranate tea, we'd have been like, no, we're not getting that.
Oh, dude, it was delicious. And like my first house that I rented, all the glasses in there, because the pomegranate tea, it was like, you know, like the old jam or like the old jelly jars and stuff that people would use as cups. Well, these were like 16 ounce, like just glass drinking glasses. So I'd drink the tea, but then I just had like my whole first apartment.
That's how you do it, brother.
Yeah.
Like if you're a childhood household, if you didn't have the mason jars and then, you know, the Betty Crocker butter.
Yeah.
That's a bowl right there. That's a cereal bowl.
Yeah, you save all.
And they're like got the orange ring in it from where you've ate spaghetti in it, and then spaghetti's just like, I'm not leaving. You're gonna remember me forever.
Do you still microwave in plastic?
When you're supposed to not do that? Oh yeah. Well,
that's why it gets like all like weird colored and shit.
I think that's the least of my concerns, though.
Yeah, I mean, every little bit helps.
Well, eventually, I had a dream last night actually, that me and Dylan opened up a haunted like resort thing.
Was this because of the ghost story?
I have no clue. I don't know.
Maybe they're trying to get you to do work. Like they're like, so they had the lady scare you, and then now they're like, yeah, we're gonna do this, and you're gonna be filthy rich. Just team up.
But why would because it ended with this one crazy part where there was like a church. I know, man. Look, it ended with this one crazy part where there was like a church. And we're sitting there, and this guy is talking at the altar. And then he gets struck with a bolt of lightning and bursts into this wild, like, ball of fire. And then it's just like he's walking, and then he's like sticking his arms out like to come. And I'm like, it's Satan. And I'm like, brother, fuck that. You going by yourself. He's like, it ain't that worth it. And Dylan was like, maybe that's what you got to do, Mike. You got to fucking sign on to like the Illuminati. Yeah. No, I'll just die with my morals. I'll die with my morals. If I walked into a Diddy party, if I would have, like, say Diddy was like, yeah, I like this one right here, talking about me. And he's like, bring him up to the party. And then I could just get in there. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I would die there. Because obviously, you know, people who walked in there were probably scared to be like,
you can't walk back out
this is gay. Like, whoa, guys, y'all understand. This ain't, and they're like, nah, man, it's a freak. I'm like, no. This is like, if you look up the definition of gay, this is what it is. And I'm not gay. And even if there was women here, I'm still not doing that. Like, I'm not, this is weird. This is fucked up. I just want to leave. I just want to leave right now.
I feel very uncomfortable in this situation. All right,
well, you leave with Mike out the back. And there's like some big fucking bodyguard that walks up. I'm like, he's going to kill me. And I just walk out the back. I ain't fucking, you ain't getting me to suck no dick. Have you read some of the stuff that's coming out about that?
They got the check and everything for you. The $15 million.
Couldn't do it.
You said you were upset because they took Diddy off the table for you, so that it wasn't even an option anymore.
Look, I joke around, but it's the same reason we don't do like the crypto shit. Like I said, there'd be a Mike coin anytime. There's some creators on there, and there's some creators like I'm friends with, that there is a big media company that goes around and is like, hey, we want to essentially take control of your social media platforms, and you can still post on there, but we're also going to post like viral things that have nothing to do with your content, and it's going to make you a lot of money. And they pay them $1,000 a month, and then they got to split like the profit with them, and they got to sign all these contracts. And I know a myriad of content creators who have done that. And then essentially what they'll do is they'll spam their followers with like all their previously popular shit, and then also other shit that has nothing to do with it, and a lot of like clickbaity stuff and shit like that. And I'm like, I wouldn't do that. And I had one creator that was like, well, it's this much a month, and I'm sorry you don't like to make money. And I'm just like, brother, like you are quintessentially the person that would go to a party and suck a dick to get like you would suck a dick to get famous, and you gotta live with that, man. Look, it's hard for me to go to bed at night because I have insomnia, but once I lay down, I sleep like a baby because I ain't got none of that shit on my mind. Like I don't have people that I've like fucked over, and these are people like you remember the friend we had that was like, he would be a nice person, but he fucked people over, and he was just like the people he talked shit bad about, and then
the story comes out. It's not exactly how it played out.
Right. Yeah. It's just, it's a weird situation. We'll talk about that one day. Never. I don't think we'll ever talk. Yeah. We'll never talk about that. But it's just like, he's like trying to throw him off. He's like, I'm going to get my bag. I was like, yeah, you would, the people who say that, that's like, oh, I'm going to do what I need to get my money. I was like, essentially what you're saying is you would suck a dick for $1 million. Like you would give Diddy your butthole, because it's not a one-time thing. Like,
you gotta keep.
Yeah. Orlando Brown wasn't like, you just did it and then you got the money and that was all. You had to keep coming back, baby, to whatever freaky shit that man wanted you to do. Nah, not me, not I. Like the whole, him and Amy were joking on me when I told him about the dream with the devil, and they was like, that's all you got to do is like, Amy was like, you just got to get in with the Illuminati. I was like, I can't do it. I don't even think they're doing sexual things, but
yeah,
they're just praising owl statues and weird shit. That
I'll say it in jest, because that's one thing that I think is admirable about what you do, and I feel like that's how I've tried to operate my business is, I will not take the quick buck for, questioning my like morals and everything. Like if it goes against that, like I try to find another path. There's always another path to go down. So
another path that doesn't like fuck people over. That's the one thing. That's the one thing I'll never do. That's why when I did sponsorships, they were like dude wipes or labor llama, because I knew that those were actually some things that people use. And even with the dude wipes thing, once people were like, hey, Mike, like these are not, really good for your septic tanks. I was like, oh, well, no, we can't do that anymore, because I'm not going to tell somebody to, hey, buy this. And then now you got to pay fucking $2,500 to get your septic tank fixed, because Mike was like, hey, well, dude wipes, you can wipe your butt with it and it's wet and it feels nice. And I hate it. I hate having morals, though. I wish I could just be, what's the word? Immoral. There you go. I wish I could just be immoral. Give people the crypto, and then we could do the, what else?
Let's dive into the dude wipes, though, because I think that is something that is, it's known but also not known as like people. You can't put it into a septic system, but you also can't flush it into like a city plumbing system, because it never breaks down. Like they say they're flushable, but like toilet paper literally falls apart. Like that's what makes that fucking napkin tampon story so crazy, is because like all that stuff breaks down and falls apart. But like the dude wipes and all the other flushable wipes.
Why'd you have to bring up the napkin tampons?
Well, everybody wants us to say mayonnaise dick in every single episode, and then also we're probably going to be napkin tampon. We'll probably be
napkin coochie, mayonnaise dick, 9/11 moon pies. When we come out with merch, bro, that's going to be dope.
Yeah.
People are going to just be like, what the fuck are these shirts?
But they've got these things called fatbergs that are in like all of the municipalities, which it's people dumping grease down the drain. Don't do that. That just solidifies in your drains and can like really fuck up your whole like plumbing system. But then you take that and then other shit that people flush down the drain that they're not supposed to, including flushable wipes. And all this creates like these big, like almost like clogged arteries inside the plumbing systems that just like, and so it costs all the taxpayers a shit ton of money. If it doesn't even just stop at your house, like you end up paying so much money for fixing all this
repairs and stuff.
infrastructure because none of it will process the way that it's supposed to.
I remember when I told Dylan, I was like, yeah, we're never doing anything for Dude Wipes again because of they were like, hey, like, we want you to do this thing for, I forgot what it was, like DraftKings or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I don't advertise gambling to people. And they were like, we got to hurry up and do this. And listen, like I said, I don't care if you gamble. I don't care if you drink alcohol, but I'm not going to be the guy that fucking promotes that and then ruins somebody's life. It's your life. You get to live it how you want to. And that's all sweet. But oh man.
Well, I think that's...
I need to drop it and just be like, all right, guys, DraftKings new gambling for kids is so much fun. Don't you want to act like you're 18 and get on this site and fucking gamble away money? Don't you want to get an addiction as youth? That's what they did. They took gambling. They were like, oh, man, how can we... It's essentially like everything else. Yeah, it's like the fucking dick pills and stuff like that. Everything is now targeted at the people that are just now becoming adults.
Well, because your brain is receptive to like all
it's receptive to really getting hooked on that goddamn gambling.
Like, I mean, the first time I went to a casino, I was like 21 and I brought in like $100 and I was like, that's all I'm spending. And then the $100 was gone, and I was like, "All right, I'll get out $200 because like I want to like make sure." And by the time I was done for that night, I was like $500, and I didn't have $500. I mean, I had it, but I didn't.
You didn't have it, yeah.
I didn't have it to.
That was allotted for other things.
Yeah, like I mean, I was making that like every 2 weeks. Like it wasn't like I just had it saved up. Like it wasn't extra money.
I remember, man, I had a great mama. She was like. Top. If you think about grandmas, I had the sweet old mama that just like, she cooked all these dinners all the time, and Christmas was at like her house and stuff, and it was just like a real magical mama.
Yeah.
And then she got into those little fucking pop up little casino places where you play the little games on the computers.
Yeah.
Completely different mama. I went to go hang out with her one time. I had walked all the way up to the gambling place, which was a long walk, but I was going to ride back with my grandma and grandpa to their house and spend the night. And I remember getting there, and I'm just like sitting in the floor while she's just like, I'm like, Mama, can't wait. We're gonna go hang out at your house, right? And then she's like, well, after I do this, after I do that, like, and I was just like, wow, that's fucking. And then she just went down this whole fucking. It lasted for years too, brother. And I was just like, man, fucking. I walked all the way back. Like I said, I did drugs for a long time. I never like, went out of my way to fucking. I never paid money that I didn't have for drugs. I never did like shit like that. So other addicts would look at me and be like, man, if you're not sucking dick for this stuff, your heart's not in the game. And I'm like, I feel like it is. I feel like I do.
I mean, I'm pretty solid. Like my streak is pretty good.
Yeah, I got a really good streak going on. I will stop. So like my tolerance will go down. And then they're like, see, that right there, you don't do that. Your tolerance builds so much that eventually you just die one day because you did too much and your heart couldn't handle it anymore.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like I'm really in this ball game with y'all, but
no, I see. I'm just hacking this. This is like a performance hack that I do. I come off of it, so then
right, yeah. Like I'm not trying to ruin my fucking life, guys. I've seen plenty of people like die from this stuff.
Well, it's like people when you get to talking about drinking and everything. Like it's always like this badge of like I can kill an 18 pack, and it's like. That's expensive. Like you're getting the same
also
buzz
your
that
liver,
I am.
brother.
Yeah, you're getting the same buzz that I am from like 6 or 7, and it takes you 18 to get there. And like that's cool if you want to blow all that money and run all that.
You did it right. It's cool, brother. I'm putting down 18 of them. You know how cool that is? When I'm telling my friends in the morning how many beers I drank the other night while I'm shaking like a motherfucker, just
as you open up your morning one,
just get a morning shot just to get me like really feeling all right. And then after that, I take a shot every hour until I finally get off work. And then that's when I can really just like lay in. I'm like, brother, you gotta. But fucking. You see a beer commercial, a little dance party. That's why I tell people like beer should be treated like cigarettes. And people are like, oh, well, there's plenty of people who fucking, bro, I know plenty of old people who smoke cigarettes that never died from cancer from fucking cigarettes. Yeah. I've known people that currently are going through, liver failure that are yellow. We had this one guy, Randy, man, and that man would not die. And he would not quit drinking either. He was like, I'm never going to quit drinking. He went through like liver failure. He had a brain aneurysm, which brain aneurysms, man, every other person I've heard that's gone through that was like ball game. They just went out. He had a brain aneurysm, liver failure. He'd be yellow. Bro lasted like 10 years after like the liver failure and turning yellow. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
But he had a brain aneurysm after that, after his body's already given out. Man would not die. He was fueled, like his body had learned to burn the fucking the liquor as fuel. I don't know what was going on with him.
Yeah, we had a guy that I worked with, and he he had multiple times that he would have I guess it's an aneurysm. It's where your like veins bust open, and it busted open and dumped directly into his stomach, and then he's throwing up blood everywhere, and like literally he could have bled out like within, you know, moments, but the EMS gets there, saves him, and he had that happen like a couple times. And part of the reason was he's like had Hep B or C or whichever one, and so his liver was going on him and all this other stuff, and like he'd do painkillers, like they were going out of style. He was a recovering alcoholic for a while, and then he's like, "Oh, I can manage it now." And then no, he was just drinking like a fifth of absolute vodka, like just to his face while at work. And I was like, maybe you just slow down on that. And no, but like same thing. He'd be able to go through all that, and then a couple weeks later, he's back up and running and doing like normal and back onto the.
It just doesn't make any sense, man. I don't see any, like, I want to see some Newport commercials. Like, how the fuck is this fair? I want to see, like, some kids just, like, hanging around. Like, not kids, but, you know, mid-youth, mid-adult, young adults. I don't count 18 as adult. I count that as big kid. Like, 19 is big kid.
The ones they show on, like, movies and stuff, they're usually, like, mid-20s, early 30s. Like, I mean, Spider-Man, like, all those guys were, like damn near, like, 30 years old.
Yeah, like Twilight and shit like that. You got, like, fucking people with 5 o'clock shadow just like, what's up, fellow youth? How are we doing today? Yeah. But, yeah, that's how it should be. Like, either cigarettes gets the fun commercials where everybody's, like, smoking and having a good time, or alcohol and gambling commercials should be like the PSA against it. It should be like, this is what happens when you drink alcohol. Like when you buy some beer, they should start doing the pictures of like a yellow dude saying like, I hope you enjoy it. Oh, yeah. Because I didn't enjoy dying.
Okay, so on that note though, when you see the smoking commercials, because like the anti-smoking commercials, does it not make you want to go out and have a fucking cigarette?
Hell yeah, though.
Like as soon as I see it, I'm like,
you got the guy with the, like, you don't always die from tobacco. Like, I want to listen to that, jamming out a little bit, smoking a cigarette. Like, you're just puffing out to one.
I swear every single time I see, and like, I haven't smoked, like, I think I had a couple cigarettes the other night at the concert, but, like, I don't smoke on the regular anymore. And anytime I saw one of those commercials, whether I was smoking at the time or not, I'm like, oh yeah, cigarette does sound good right now. But like, and it's supposed to be the opposite of that.
There are going to be people that listen to this too and be like, oh, well, I had a family member die from smoking.
Yes.
Absolutely. Everybody's had somebody die from something. People die. But what I can't fucking stand is when they're like, you know, yeah, he was 74 years old and cancer died. Took him out. Yeah, cancer took him out from smoking. At 74? Man, people just die for no reason all the time now. At 74, and they're like, yeah, we're blaming cigarettes for this. Or possibly he was fucking old. Somebody would be like 80, 83.
Well, see, like I'm anti-smoking. Not that I give a shit that anybody smokes. I don't want my daughters to smoke because it's literally, I've spent so much money, wasted so much money over the years. Like, at least when you were doing drugs, you caught a buzz. But like cigarettes are like, yeah, no, you're
still miserable. There's no euphoria that goes with it. And they're fucking impossible to quit.
And they're expensive as fuck now, too.
Yeah, like when I'm paying $9 a day for cigarettes, brother, like, Jesus Christ. And you can't
just like be like, oh no, I'm done with that. Like,
and it's I don't know why it's the most addictive shit. Like, it's like, I've done so many drugs, Adderall, pain pills, quitting those, I'm just like, man, I feel like shit, but you know, whatever. Cigarettes is like, you're going to feel like shit forever. And then even 6 months after you're done doing these things, you're going to want one all the fucking time.
I've quit for years at a time, and there's a reason why I get back on it, but like, it's one of those things where at no point, like, it smells terrible. And like that first hit, like when I first started hanging out with you and like I started smoking again with you, like that first puff off that cigarette was the worst tasting. Like I was just like, ugh, gross. Let me get through this.
It's so hard to get addicted to too. Like you said, it's not like a drug where you get like euphoria or something like that. Like when you're a kid, you do a pain pill and you're like, oh fuck, I feel magical. Or you smoke weed or whatever. And like this, like you're like, oh, I want to do this again. Cigarettes is just like, oh my God, why the fuck? I feel terrible. This is so nasty.
I can understand like the menthols. Like I'd never smoked them because I'm a regular guy. Like I like black coffee. I like regular flavored cigarettes. Like I don't want.
I thought you were going to say black guys for some reason.
No, that's your projection.
Oh yeah, projecting right now.
But no, like I'd always do. Like if I didn't like the actual thing, I don't do it. Like so. I always smoked regular cigarettes, but then whenever I'd be hanging out with somebody and they'd give me a menthol, for me it tastes absolutely disgusting. I don't want it. But for those people, it is minty goodness. Like they're
What do you mean by those people, brother?
always women. Like always women. Like literally every single girl that I ever dated like smoked menthol cigarettes, and I was like, ew.
Listen, I don't like to be stereotypical, but anytime a black guy comes up and asks me for a cigarette, I'm like, yeah, but I got full flavor. And they'll be like, nah, I'm all right, brother. I was like, all right. That's a real actual thing, man.
See, like at the factory, all the guys that smoked there that were black, they all smoked regulars. Like
Really?
Durrells, and I think there was one or two that were Newport guys, but other than that,
They were
like,
out there smoking Winston's?
My old boss at the architecture firm, he smoked Salem's. I always regretted when I didn't have enough cigarettes to make it through the day. I'd be like, oh, could I bum a Salem from you?
Ooh, a Salem. How deep are we into this one?
40.
Oh, man, a short one, because I feel like wrapping it up and going to smoke a cigarette.
I'll have too much talking about cigarettes. We gotta keep that conversation down so that you don't.
Listen, best comment we got on any of the platforms was a guy, he works on locomotives, and he works on them at night, and he's like, it feels like you guys are out there, talking with him. And I was like, man, that felt like, I think about those moments of, when you're working, you're at work and you feel alone and shit like that, but you got these two guys talking about the randomest, dumbest shit you ever heard, which is like work.
Poop knives.
Yeah, poop knives.
Did you guys read that story on Reddit about poop knives?
But yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in. Make sure to rate, put some comments, check out two daddies judging baddies if you want more of the Am I the Assholes from Reddit. There we are concise. We deliver the content efficiently, and we will see you guys next time.
Later.